First time with the saddle. It's an English little saddle. It's me recording, but look at that. Beautiful. Trot. Good girl. Up. And ho. Good girl. Good girl, you're so good. Prior to introducing the English saddle, I had just put a surcingle on her just to get her used to the feeling of the cinch or the girth. And she had zero problem with that and zero problem with the English saddle. When I tried to introduce the Western pad, it was a whole different story. So join us on this journey and see how we did it. She graduated with honors in 3 days. Yesterday, so we'll see about, along. Very good girl. So and ho. Good girl. That's excellent. Good girl. Dara wore an English saddle yesterday and she walked trotted and cantered without any issues. And today we're going to present her with a Western saddle that has a back cinch, a breast collar, just the whole getup. So the first thing I'm going to do is allow her to get acquainted with the saddle. And she's a little bit unsure about what to think about it. And you could do this step or not, but I like to break the ice by offering, just look, some alfalfa pellets. Go there, baby. So as if the saddle is going to give it to her so that she expects good things to happen here. So I'm going to do it again. Right by the saddle there. If she was too worried about it, this won't work. And by the way, the little scar on her face, I have no idea what happened. This is not due to training at all. I don't know what she found in her stall to get nipped there. So same thing with the pad. I'm gonna offer that the pad is a great thing and it's not scary. And I do this so that, again, the expectation of new things is like, they're not scary, they're just a game. And of course you can do it the other way, and I've done it so many times the other way where I use absolutely no treats. But I don't see the big deal. Why not? Why not? If done correctly, treats are very positive and very helpful. That doesn't mean that she always does things for me because I give her treats. It just means that the scary item is a friendly item. And we don't have to go through the whole process of fearing something. So now I'm gonna walk away. And I'm sorry, I'm alone, so I'm filming here as I see. Okay, what just happened there is she wanted to go to the target. Remember how I trained her in the target? This originally was scary to her. Now she volunteers to go to it every time she sees it. And she literally looks for it and puts her nose on it. There she goes. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm gonna walk away. And then I'm gonna reintroduce the whole idea of we go to the saddle and the saddle is friendly. Go sniff it. Excellent. Yep, good girl. And now we're gonna start the process of introducing it on her. Recording? Okay. before we put the back cinch on her, we're gonna use this lariat rope to teach her that the pressure that she feels on her flank is not something really scary. So we're gonna introduce it by letting her sniff it. There she goes. And then what I'm gonna do is, and I'm just gonna kind of put it on her butt here and let her feel that. And let her wear that for a minute. And send her off. Walk. And she's not really scared. I'm gonna ask her to trot. Because sometimes at speed things change. I'm gonna kind of let it fall off. Good girl. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. We're just gonna put it over here and let her feel that pressure instead of. Good girl. And I'm just gonna kind of tug on it. Toe. And I'm gonna tighten it a little bit. You see how she had a toe? She kind of reacted there when I tightened it. So I'm just gonna double check that. That is not very scary. Good. Good girl. So now we're gonna let her step in it. This is where you have to be careful because with sensitive horses, they might run into you if they get scared. So I'm gonna put it wide. You can even put it on the ground and kind of like if we're stepping it or back into it. So I'm gonna try to put it on the ground here under her belly. For her, some horses, this even might be scary, so make sure that they're comfortable picking up their feet now. And make it so big that it's on the ground. And from here, I'm going to ask her to simply back into it. Pick up your feet. More. There's one foot. I need one more foot in there. There we go. Make sure that her front feet are off of it. I might leave some of this rope on the ground. And the first time I tighten this, I'm going to have my hand up here in case she overreacts to it. And I'm going to just check. I'm going to wiggle it around before I tighten it up. I'm just going to wiggle it around a little bit and kind of go back and forth. They're usually, the more back you go, the more they mind it. So I'm just gonna tug on this to make sure she's okay. Good girl, she's checking it out. Very good. All right. Then before I do anything else, I will disengage her hindquarters. I would make sure she can feel that and disengage. Good girl. And she's not bothered by this whatsoever. Okay, whatever you do on one side, you do on the other. So make sure she's not bothered about this. You swing it around, you loosen it and readjust it on this side. I'm going to make sure that we wiggle it here, you wiggle it, and make sure you disengage your hindquarters. And good girl. So she's not perfect at disengaging because she's just learning this. But as long as she moves the butt away from me, I'm happy. And I'm gonna send her out to see if she gains a little bit of movement, if her idea about this whole experience would change or it would stay the same. I expect her to not really be bothered. Walk, 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 walk. So if she is resistant to walking, I might get my rope, sweep her head and neck. Walk. And see right there? Tight, tight, release, tight, release, drop, drop. I'll tighten and release, 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 and she could care less about this. Good girl. Very good girl. Very good. Okay, whatever we do on one side, we do on the other side. Make sure your horse is not bothered about this. You prepare your horse for these movements. You desensitize first. But I'm not covering all that in one video, so we can get to the point as much as possible. Okay? And we ask her to leave. Walk. 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 Good. She's like, those are not my regular cues. Go. Walk. Good girl. Walk. Good. Make sure your nose is a little bit towards you. Good. Trot. Trot. Good. All right. Good job. Good job. All right, now we're done with this. She had no reaction. And because she had no reaction, she's giving me the go-ahead to put the saddle on her. We're gonna get the pad first. We're gonna walk away over here. Yeah. We're gonna do a positive association again with this pad. And we're gonna toss it on both. There, you see how this is very perfect, girl. Okay. Good girl. So we might just, instead of tossing it up there, yeah, we might go, and when she stops her feet, we'll release the pad chasing her. Okay. There. And then the pad can go away. Now, I'm thinking that she wasn't scared of the English saddle yesterday whatsoever. And I believe she's scared of this because it smells like our lead mare. This is our lead mare's pad. And so instead of chasing her around and scaring her by tossing it over, we'll work on that at another point. And the principle would be, I'm chasing you with the pad. As soon as you're done moving, I will then release the pressure of the pad chasing you, and you're in control of whether the pad chases you or not. So the way you control the pad, horsey, is that you stop your feet, and the result of that is that the pad goes away. But if you keep running, the pad keeps chasing you, and that's pretty much the response that I want to train into her whenever she's scared of something. And it's that she needs to, when in doubt, she needs to stop her feet and look for direction. But because I don't want to chase her around, for one, because I'm still recovering from my knee surgery and I can't chase her around that successfully, I want to just take a different approach and make this very pleasant. So come here, and I'm gonna just let her see it on this side and give her a treat and kind of just pet her with it. Just rub her with it. Yeah, just rub her and let her see it. Yeah, good girl. That's it. Good girl. Yep. Good. Yeah. And there, I can give her some more treats. Good. That's good girl. And then I can gradually make this a little bigger and just kind of place it on her and make this feel good to her, and make sure that she can see it from both sides. I'm holding it a little bit so that it doesn't fall on the ground. If it does fall, make sure you can get out of the way. Good. Good girl. Good girl. And make sure that you put your head up by her head in case she does get scared and jumps towards you, that you can push her away. And you're working on her flexing too and her gymnastics. Good. So now, if the pad falls now, I just need her to move away from me and not come running into me. But she can wear it a little bit and make sure that she's okay with it. There, go. There it is. Good girl. Western girl. Yeah, oh. Okay, back up. Yeah, that's on you. So now we're going to get the saddle. This is a big old heavy saddle. Well, heavy for me because I'm only 100 pounds. There we go. And I'm just gonna let her follow me here and show her that I'm carrying the saddle. There we go. So, another positive association with it. Okay, so this is like when you're not strong. Okay, good girl. And then kind of slowly put it on her without swinging it. Yeah, very good. So I'm gonna flex her here and let her see it and give her a positive reinforcement. Good girl. Ho, ho, ho. Don't let her walk with it. Don't let her walk with it yet. Just see it. There, good girl. Okay. All right. And then switch sides. Oh. see it on this side. Girl. Now let everything down from here. Okay. Good. Okay. Yeah, good girl, huh? Yeah. Just then I realized that this saddle and the cinch were too big for her, so I'm gonna go switch to a different saddle and continue. So here I'm gonna let her do her own exploration of this saddle. Out a little bit. And just gently put this on her. So be sure that your stirrup is not going to fall and scare her on the other side. Good girl. And just let her see it again. Flex her here. Let her see it. Okay, I'm sorry that the camera is probably not catching all of this. And now, don't let it go somewhere with it yet. Good. And as fast as you can stop. Okay. Good girl. Make sure you keep your flex on this side. You see it? Good. You have good girl. And you can take it off. And that is the 7-mental break. There you go. Our stirrup on the other side. Make sure it's here. Put it on her. Good. And we're going to hold the saddle and flex her on this side. Good. Alright, we're going to wiggle our saddle and adjust that. Make sure she's not scared of it. And keep her fixed here. Where it is pinched down. Okay. Keep the hand here. but she's not showing me many signs that she's worried about it. I just want to make sure that it won't fall on her foot. And the first few times, release, like tighten and release on the cinch. Tighten and release on the cinch. Wiggle that saddle. And don't let him, I don't want to let her go anywhere. Good girl. Okay. Now we're going to put the dress collar on as well, just as an extra safety. We're going to always kind of let her know that we're here, that we're coming, that things are not scary. Yep. And we're going to make sure that the saddle is pretty snug and it's not going to go anywhere. If she starts bucking or something, it's not going to go anywhere. Good. One more time. And this time I have it a little bit more snug. And there's a lot of here, a lot of stuff on her. Okay, and I'm gonna let her see this. Now you gotta know your horse. She's a little bit more cold-footed, right? Because of her breed. So with a sensitive horse, I would never do that method. I have other methods that I show on Patreon, and you can see how I start other sensitive horses or problem horses, or horses that have had a bad experience and had bucking problems and so forth. But with her, because she's so cold-blooded, I'm just she's going to go on top of me. So I'm going to send her out so I can help her if she likes it now. And so she knows what this means. Good girl. Walk. Good. I'm going to ask her to trot now. Good girl. I'm going to tip her nose tip towards me in case she breaks it up and she takes off. I want to be able to pull her in. And hold. I'll disengage her. Good girl. And now treat her for that. She did very well. And I'm going to let her go on the opposite side as well. So I walk over here. I'll keep that nose tip towards me. Good. And oh, good girl. Excellent. Excellent. So, no buck. I'm going to wiggle the saddle again, wiggle the stirrups, make sure that my cinch is tight enough. And if she starts bucking because the cinch is too tight, first buck is okay. If she continues, then I will redirect her feet. And this saddle, the other saddle was just too big for her. Even though it seemed like she was going to fit it. So I had to switch to this saddle, but this saddle belongs to a pony and doesn't have the back cinch. And we'll add that for the next session, but this is good enough for her. I mean, look at this, very different saddle than what she had yesterday. So we're gonna come this way, and this time we're gonna send her again. Come on. Walk. Good. I'm gonna ask her to trot. Trot. I have 4 fingers on top of my rope, so I can really use my body to pull her in. If she does break in half, up, 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 and hold. Good. This time I stop her from her front. Good girl. She is doing really well. And all we're gonna do is the other side, and she will be done for today. That was a big step for her. She has never been saddled before. She only has had this saddle on. I mean, not this saddle. She only has had her English saddle yesterday for the very first time. Before that, I had 1 day of a surcingle on her. That kind of helped ease her into that feeling of the cinch. Not all horses would be that easy. That's why I have my program that shows you with other horses. They're not so easy. Girl, walk. Good. Keep that nose towards you. It's a little confusing to them because they slow down when you pull on their nose, but pull and release. Don't keep pulling. Pull and release. Cut. Good girl. Don't let them pull you around too much. Up. And oh, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Good, very good. Very good. Okay. Last thing we're gonna do is one at liberty. Walk. Good girl. Trot. Up. Up. And ho. That was beautiful. Very good. You can come in. Very good. You're such a good girl. Yes, you are. All right. Good. And now the last thing we're going to do is send her off the opposite direction. Very good girl. Yeah, that saddle, huh? It's a new piece of clothing you have to wear. Just like a fly mask and a blankie. All kinds of fancy stuff you're wearing, huh? Yeah. Oh. Go that way. Okay, walk. Walk. Good girl. Trot, please. Trot. Good girl. Trot. Oh, and there we go. She got spooked there. But that's okay. That wasn't the saddle. It's just something right there scared her. That's okay. Good girl. Yeah, you can come check with me. So I'm not going to reprimand her for this. She genuinely got scared. Good girl. And she looked to me. Right? You know, the very moment she was recovering, she was looking for guidance. So I'm going to reward that instead of punishing her. She didn't buck because of the saddle. She didn't even buck. Okay, let's try again. Walk. 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 Good girl. Okay. She's going to want to not go that way now, but we're going to be brave and go. Good girl. Yeah, I want her to go calmly there since that was out. Beautiful. Good girl. I'm gonna reward that too. You see how she looks at me? Good girl. I'm gonna reward that because she did not take off this time. It was the scary spot and she didn't take off. Good job. Good job. That's how you build rapport and trust with your horse. And look, she's checking to see if the saddle is there. But ultimately, see both sides? Ultimately, I put it on her and she trusts that. Good girl. Okay, I do want her though to walk, trot, and canter the opposite way before we end the session. So I'm going to send her. Come on. Good. She needs to go that way. Come on. Walk that way. Walk that way. Good girl. Trot. 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 Good. And up. Up. No, one more time. Walk. Trot. One more time. Up. 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 I wanted to make one full circle. And ho. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. All right, that would conclude her session. First time with a Western saddle. Today is day 3 of putting the saddle on Dara, and this time I'm going to expose her to swinging it over her just because that's what people are going to do. And so the whole point of this exercise would be, don't worry about things swinging or coming or flying towards you. Make sure that your feet stand still and you look for direction from the human if you're frightened. I might have sniffed it because that's just common courtesy. Yeah, I know. And I'm just gonna put my hand up by her eye just in case, she doesn't plow through me. But as you can see, today she has no terrible association with this swinging motion. And I'm gonna flex her here. Good girl. And then we're gonna repeat it on the other side. There we go. So yesterday she actually had trouble because I didn't think to film it. I should have filmed it, but I swung it the first time and she kind of, jetted sideways, and she repeated it a few times yesterday. So I didn't quite fix it yesterday purposely because I expected her to have a reaction today so I can show it. But no, we'll see about what she thinks about the saddle when I swing it. But I'm going to flex her here again. Good. All right. And I'm going to let her walk with it. If this path falls off of her, I call these happy accidents. I know that a saddle falling off a horse could ruin a horse, especially in these first impressionable first times. But I also believe that they have to perceive things falling off of them as just something that happens, and they shouldn't be bothered too much about it, because the truth is, at one time or another, something will fall off. Whether it's your jacket, the saddlebag, the actual saddle, or a person, something will fall off. And they need to just remain calm. I like to teach them to remain calm during that time. Let's get the saddle. Now the kinder thing would be to put my stirrup over the horn. And I might do that if I can't really swing it. But I also want her to be okay with the stirrup swinging over her and kind of bumping her on the side, because again, legs are gonna swing, they're gonna bump. Eventually kids are gonna swing their legs, they're gonna do all kinds of crazy bumping. And I want Dara to be totally okay with everything that happens in the world of humans and her own world. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I know. Good girl. Yeah, I know. I know. That's okay. Yes, I know. Now, she wants to sniff it, so I'm gonna let her. I'm going to take it off. That was good. And I'm going to wiggle it. And then if she flexes and looks at it, I'm going to say, hey, that's really good. And I'm going to treat her for it. So treats are not necessarily bad. Again, I think my horses are a little bit more pushy just because I don't take the time to train my own horses about how to deal with treats too respectfully. But again, with other horses, when you treat correctly, this could be a great benefit to the training and the horse. Good. It just takes off the whole this is something that's gonna kill me kind of thought, and he said this is something interesting, I'd like to explore it. Let's see if we can swing it the other way. So I like to do both sides just because, you know, one side is always better than the other, but both sides need to be trained to have a saddle on. Very good girl. So over here, the flexing is always a good thing. We always encourage the flexing, and then I'm going to treat her for it. I'm going to hold the saddle because I don't necessarily want it to fall. But if it does fall, you know, not the biggest deal in the world. Okay, I'm gonna let my cinches off here. So all these things, like, I don't want to be too careful because all these things, when little bumps happen and little accidents happen, I see them as an opportunity for the horse to just experience some different feelings. Yeah, good girl. Don't twist so much. Yeah, you're flexing. Yeah. And I do the girth up a little tight because, I mean, not to break them in half or anything, but I do want her to, I'd rather her not roll the saddle if she breathes out. And ideally we do it in 3 times. You know, we tighten the cinch 3 times. But since she's not being ridden, she's just running around by herself with it, then I'd like her to I'd like the cinch to be pretty tight, just because I don't want the saddle to roll under her belly. That is a big no. the saddle falling is one thing. The saddle rolling under her belly, absolutely not a good thing. Sorry, I'm not like showing myself to the camera here too much. So I know she doesn't have a problem with the cinch. She's very curious about the saddle. Now this horse is very young. You have to remember that she's only 11 months barely. So I'm not gonna reprimand her for pushing her nose into me while I'm saddling her because she wants to look at the saddle. I want her to look at the saddle. I want her to be fully aware of what the saddle is doing on her, that it's on her. I don't want her to forget that the saddle is on her, because you'd be surprised how young horses can spook themselves just because they forgot they had something on them. So all that I want her to experience. And so over here now, I'm gonna actually start kind of making different noises, tapping, you know, pulling on this. I couldn't find a back cinch that fits her, but I don't expect any problems with it whatsoever. We've done the testing. Like, she does not, she doesn't care about any of this, because remember we did the lariat rope, not a reaction. But this is not going to be her saddle anyway, and she'll be growing, so eventually I'll get her a back cinch that fits her. See how she's a little bit more worried here? And then she's gonna see it and say, good girl. This is always the spot of love and kindness, right there. Yeah, good girl. Yeah, good girl. Yes, you are. So again, flexing is a great thing. Flexing here, good girl. And I release the pressure, and if she leaves her head here, I'm very happy about that. I have a different video about the whole teaching them to flex and being light. Yeah, you're doing so good. That you can check out on patreon.com. And it's your foundation for softness, for one range stop, for just a safety for the horse. Yeah, you're so good. I know you're so good. So I love this. I'm going to flex her on the other side too. Let's come this way. Good. And then I'm going to ask her to flex. I want her feet not to be moving. I'm not asking her to disengage. Good girl. Good. And I'm going to treat that here. So again, this is her more difficult side, the right side. So I want more positive experiences on this side and more scary things to happen on this side too, and kind of balance the two, because this side she has a little bit more trouble coping with different things. So that's why I treat on this side. Yeah, that's why we treat on this side. You want one more? You have one more. But your feet not moving. There you go. Good girl. All right. So we can test a little bit if she understands moving away from me here. Good girl. Do you want her to disengage now if I ask her? One more. One more. Good girl. Good girl. Alright, so we're just gonna do a few circles left and right. Walk. Trot. Up. Up. And ho. Good girl. That's excellent. Good girl. Very good. You can do one more on the other side. And that will be it. Good girl. All right. Walk. 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 Trot. Trot. Up. Up. Oh, good girl. Okay. Good girl.